I was watching a handful of the Kyle Rittenhouse because I watched some of the live stream, and then what came up were people debating a year ago when it happened about was it self-defense or not, and a lot of these were Twitch streamers, and I don't think that these are bad people. I think it's almost impossible to argue in good faith in front of an audience that expects you to represent their side. So these are smart people that often see where arguments are going and will disrupt the flow of conversation as somebody, for instance, this is the one that I watched. He was close to proving that this guy's principle that you cannot defend property with lethal force was not a principle that he actually subscribed to. That he says, well, what about, Koreans in the LA riots? Like, were they justified? Well, they were, and he's having a hard time. But he just doesn't. He just kind of says, you're trying to get a gotcha. You're trying to do this to me. You're trying to do that, as opposed to having a thoughtful exploration of, what do I think? Why do I think it? Oh, maybe I should amend this principle. I don't.
We've talked about this. We've talked to political people that I felt the exact same way with.
Yeah.
No one. It's rare that someone will change their mind on camera when what they say will lead to their fans liking them less. Like, that's just never going to happen. So once you're a Ben Shapiro or whoever it is, and your audience sways a certain way, it's incredibly hard to publicly come out and admit, hey, that belief I have that you all also have, turns out it wasn't super well founded and I might have to change it. Like, you're just asking a lot of someone while on
Especially
camera.
with regards, where people can do it is where they get the quote-unquote facts wrong and video evidence comes out, I was wrong, I heard the wrong thing. But with these moral arguments, people do not prove, and they just, I think, get more intransigent as these conversations occur, because now you've spent hours and hours and hours defending a position.
There's a large group of people that think that you can look at the outcomes of a system to decide if the system is biased for or against people, right?
Meaning, you can look at racial disparities, and so therefore, if black people or women or gay people have, on average, outcomes that are more negative, therefore the system, we can conclude, is biased against them.
And then you tell them that homosexual people, on average, make 10% more than heterosexual people. And not one person thinks the system is rigged against heterosexual people, nor do they amend their belief that you can look at outcomes. So that's how you know, just some sort of massive cognitive bias.
That you can look solely at outcomes, yeah.
Yeah, so you just know, okay, there's some massive cognitive bias going on. I've had that exact conversation with multiple people, and literally never has someone gone, oh, wow, maybe the system is rigged against heterosexuals. And they've also never gone, oh, maybe we need to do more than just look at the outcome data to decide if a system is rigged or oppressive. They just go, They don't change their mind. They don't address the point. They try to get out of there as quickly as possible. And then the next conversation they have about the topic is exactly as if you and them had never spoken. Like, they don't change their arguments at all.
Yeah, well, and I mean, we've said this, but I think it bears repeating because it's an important point that I need to remind myself, is that the reason for that is because our brains are not truth-seeking mechanisms. They are survival-seeking, identity-preserving, pleasure-seeking mechanisms. So they will provide to you the eloquence or rational gymnastics required to maintain a belief that keeps you getting paid or keeps you in the community that you want to stay in, or it'll just do whatever we want. And I think it's interesting hearing, I was watching John McWhorter talk about, he's got a new book on the problems with wokeism, and he describes it as a religion. And I think that's true, but I think everything's a religion, honestly. I think materialism is a religion. I think there are so many things that if you look deeply into them, do not have solid foundations, but they keep you happy, warm, comfortable, and alive. And so you just keep going.
Materialism is like a religion that no one admits to following, though.
Exactly. Like Catholicism in the whatevers. You know what I mean? It was like if you were in a Catholic town and you had never heard of a single Muslim in the 1400s, like there just was a God and you just went to church. There wasn't an option. So, but yeah, I think materialism falls into that. And I think it would be impossible to find a human that didn't build their life on completely axiomatic, meaning unfounded basis. I don't think that such a thing exists. I think it's just a bunch of pleasure survival seeking people bumping into one another, screaming that the other guy's an idiot. And for me, that makes much more sense. It's like, oh, how can two smart people, genuinely fucking smart, spend so much time interacting on these Twitch debates and not get anywhere? Because it doesn't make sense if you presume that brains are tuned to the truth. They would get there. And it's like, oh,
they're trying to survive.
They're trying to survive, get paid. Yeah.
Make sure that their tribe still likes them.
Yeah.
Make money.
And then it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, everything's right. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.